Well,
I've eaten almost all of that smallest hunk, and that's all I want, so I'm full.
okay. We'll just let it sit there.
I'd like for us to talk about something happened when me and Daddy was together. Would be more interesting.
Yeah, it would.
Let's see. I have to ask the Lord to help me to start.
Well, I was wanting you to tell me about the first time you seen a car.
Coming across the field. You mean the first time I ever seen a car when I was young?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I can think about it. Let's see. Before we married,
How old was you?
I was about 17. That year before marriage. See, I just knew him from July till the next June, you know.
Yeah.
First time I'd ever met him, just hardly a year.
And you'd never seen a car till you was 17?
No, I don't reckon.
Well, I'll be.
I don't. If I had a, I don't remember. Might have. Well, no, we didn't have no TV.
No.
I don't know, Richie, but anyway, the first time I saw a car that I could remember, I was out in the field working, and Mr. Gray and Arthur, Miss Gray and Emily drove down there to see me. She's coming down the road, and we was out in the field doing some kind of work. I don't know, we picked up rocks and done different kind, help Daddy, you know. But we saw this car coming down, and it was close to where the horses was, and the horses about to run themselves to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord, they was throwing their tails up and going across that field. That car come down that road. In my mind's eye, I can see that field right now, where we was at.
Yeah.
Above Mr. Gray's house, in a big old field where they raised corn and everything, you know. And I don't know what we was doing up there, but we was in the field, and the old horses were running across the field. They scared to death. And so, of course, they didn't. We went on in back down to the house, you know, and talked with them and everything. And the horses just stayed up there in the pasture. And then Miss Gray would come down every few days, have somebody to drive her down there to see us, you know.
Yeah.
And now let's see. Yeah, that's before we were married. And then Arthur come with him. He'd come, Miss Gray and them, they'd come and stay a while, you know. She's a person that loved to travel.
Yeah.
And didn't let to stay in her house all the time. When she got through their work, she was ready to go somewhere. So they'd come down there to see us, you know, and stay a while and talk. And we always tried to keep meal pies baked. So, so when they come, they could eat some pie, you know. And so anyway, after we married, well, we had to live in with them because we didn't have no place to go. And so we took the upstairs room, and this big old log house. Now that house is built around logs.
Yeah.
An old log. That's the coolest house. So anyway, they'd come down and see us and talk a while, and away they'd go. But she just had to get it. She'd say, I've got to get out of mine old house. She just couldn't live if she didn't go up to Joe's a while, and Betsy's, and up to, and down to our house, you know. My daddy's, before we moved in, I stayed with him part-time before we moved in, you know, with him. But there wasn't many days before we didn't see him.
Yeah.
And then when we moved in with them, well, of course, I rode with them, and they had the Louisville Fair come off right. We married in June, and the fair come off in August or
Yeah.
you know, Louisville Fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, Miss Gray wanted us all to go and spend a night or two, you know. They had plenty of money. And she wasn't too stingy with it. Now, if she wanted to do something, go somewhere, they was ready to go. And he wore his wedding suit, honey, and ruined it. them days, you know, they had old black stuff on the road.
Yeah.
He got that all on his coat and pants. Prettiest little wedding suit. I don't think Em could get all the black out of it.
Yeah.
So he didn't get much good out of his suit.
Hmm.
But we went to the hotel and stayed all night, and it was during the war. You know, everything was rationed.
Yeah.
And ration gas on us, you know. We had to save up food stamps. I mean, gas stamps to get to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, we...
Was that about 1918? 1918?
Yeah. So anyway, we stayed all night in the hotel, and old-timey hotel, honey. Great big old rooms and nothing in there but a bed and a dresser. And, let's see. Oh, we had to eat our breakfast, you know, and guess what we had?
What?
Had cornbread hoe cakes and bacon and eggs. Cornbread hoe cakes.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, your flour was rationed. You didn't get no biscuits.
Cornbread hoe cakes. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
They're fried. You talking about fried corn? What do you mean by hoe cake?
It's an old hotel.
Yeah.
We had to go down a real deep, steep hill and brick. Instead of being paved, it was brick.
Yeah.
Rough. And we had hash for breakfast. That's right. Not bacon and eggs. We had hash and cornbread hoe cakes. You know what hash is?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we had.
In
And
the Navy, we used to have cornbread and baked beans for breakfast sometime.
well, we had hash. Anyway, we went to the fairgrounds and eat our hot dogs and whatever I don't know what they had, I can't tell you, but I think they had hot dogs then, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And anyway, we was always tickled to get to go because we left to eat out. That was kind of new to me.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, I never eat out till just before we were married. We went to the fair in Blanche, my sister. Arthur, oh yeah, Leonard Butler was her sir. Boy took her and Arthur took me. And he told his mother to be sure to be there the day she wanted to meet me for the first time.
Yeah. And
she told Blanche, I was away over here, I got over, I was bashful. She told Blanche, said, your sister's bashful. I was afraid I wouldn't suit her, you know,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to do much talking. So I got away over here off to myself. And, oh, we had some funny time. And, oh, man, they'd holler tax to the fairground, 25 cents. We had to leave our car there, you know, in town.
Yeah.
And a buggy, what are you talking about, a car, shucks. Rode an old buggy and horse.
Yeah.
And they had a place where you could hitch your horse, but they pay so much to put it in the stable to be safe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They rented out stables. We ought to took pictures, but honey, we had no money to buy films.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been good if we'd have took a lot of pictures?
Yeah.
They'd have been worth a lot now.
Yeah, I like them old pictures.
And anyway, we'd leave our horse and the buggy outside and put the little horse in the stable and pay so much a day, you know. And let's see, how was it? Oh, shucks. Oh, what is funny. Miss Gray knew that she knew everybody there, you know, like people living there. And said, this old man come up here with his wife, I guess about 40 years old. He was carrying a great big boy, nearly big as Sutton, I guess. And his little boy was walking to save paying his fare.
Ah.
Yeah. His feet nearly drove the ground, and the little boy was walking. She said, look there. that he's saving a little money. I'll tell you, honey, we had it hard back then.
Yeah.
We was lucky for them boys to have money for us to get in. I don't remember eating no lunch. If we did, I bet we didn't get nothing till we got out of there. I don't remember. I guess they had popcorn and maybe hot dogs. I don't know. I can't remember that part. But Lord, that's the grandest thing ever was for us to get to go to that circus, you know.
Yeah.
See them gals jumping from one horse to another.
Well, what was the closest town you lived? What town did you live close to?
Glasgow.
How often did you go to Glasgow when you was a girl?
Oh, not real often. That's our county seat.
Yeah?
And that's where everybody went, was to Glasgow.
What county? What county's that?
Barron County.
I thought that's Barron.
Barron County. Yeah. On Saturdays, the town would be full of people.
Yeah?
And Henrietta says she still can remember very vividly a daddy giving her, I think it's 2 nickels when we went to the town, you know, and she walked all over that town to see what would be the best to buy. I believe she said she got one hamburger for a nickel and a nickel's worth of candy, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's how we grew up. And we was as happy as we could be.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and wasn't studying about money. We didn't know. I said, Henrietta, what did we take a pocketbook to town for? That little bitty old pocketbook. Just cause it's stylish, Rick.
Yeah.
Had no money. Yeah, Lord. Them were the best hamburgers you ever put in your mouth, cause we didn't get one only when we went to town. Sometimes didn't have enough money to spare to get one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, Lord, I tell you. Well, now, that's just the way everybody lived, as poor people, you know. But, of course, Mr. Gray them had plenty of money. They could have bought anything in the world.
Yeah?
He had Walter Kingery and, let's see, I can't remember the other boys' names. There's 2 or 3 boys that lived on his place, and a widow woman. And he kind of kept them up, you know. They had to pay them mostly with food.
Mm-hmm.
And Walter was one that was crazy about Arthur. Him and Arthur was the same age and run together. And he come down to our house. Walter had to come along to see that everything went all right. he was off the star. Did they love each other? Oh, that mercy, I tell you. And when we had our ice cream suppers, you know, I told you, didn't I? Did I tell you about the ice cream suppers we used to have? Not like Joey. Phone rang?
No, I thought I heard somebody.
Well, let me see, honey. Be sure them doors is locked.
Okay. We'll cut this off. That's okay.
That's all right, is it?
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
So anyway, I played one whole afternoon and sang songs, and I didn't know how to work my thing and lost all of that, and I never did want to do it no more. I had the best time that evening, all by myself, singing good songs and testifying.
Yeah?
And I didn't know how to set the thing up. But anyway, Joe was always having ice cream suppers. He left to make money. And what she done, they had to spare several freezers and make them full of cone and sell them for 10 cents a saucer. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember having any cone. And the boy's supposed to buy ice cream for his sweetheart. Excuse me. So they saved their money a month, I guess, to go to ice cream supper. And we went up to Joe's when we first met Arthur on July the 4th and talked all day, and he made a date for me the next Saturday night to be at Joe Gray's ice cream supper. If we could get there. So my dad let me and Blanche have an old buggy and a horse, and one of my good buddies, she was Mildred Lawrence. she stayed a weekend with us, and we all three went in that old buggy to Joe Gray's from where we lived. You know where we live. Did you, know? You didn't know where we lived, did you?
No.
Well, anyway, it was a long ways from there up to his ice cream supper, because I said he'd be there. That was our date for that time. So, I remember we were, when you eat ice cream and cake and everything for a while, then they'd have this old, kind of like a dance, you know, sweetheart in the long summer day, sweetheart in the long summer day. The boy would be on one side lined up and the girls on this side, and they'd start out and he'd start and pick him up a girl as he went down through the aisle, you know, across the floor, and be a singing sweetheart and pick him a girl out and walk down hand in hand. That was the way we had a courting. And so, anyway, of course, I would always pick me out. And if they got somebody that didn't like it, you know, they had to sit with them a while and talk. And get up and get some more ice cream if you want, if you got the money. That's the way we spent our night. And, let's see. Oh, I know, walking down, looked in the house, they had right in the yards where they had the supper, you know. And here was Joe's house, and had the front door open, and Eunice was sitting in there rocking William, their first baby. He was born before we married.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we always spent the night now, about 2 or 3 hours marching up and down and eating ice cream. And then we'd have, this time we'd have a box supper. You ever hear of that?
No.
Well, the girl decorated her, get a pretty shoebox, or go to the store and get her an empty box, and put pretty paper on it, and maybe some ribbon and flowers, and decorate it all up, and most of the time put her name on there, you know, but they don't want to tell the boy when they auction off whose it is. So they auction the box off, and the boys bought the box and got to eat supper with the girl. Now that was one way we had entertaining. And one time, they had that on till Wanda was in high school. One time we had let's see, they have them at the schoolhouse. They'd have these parties at the schoolhouse about the box suppers, and Carl Barrett got Lynn to come around and tell him, show him Wanda's box so he could buy it. And, he paid a big price, you know, to get her box. If the boy if he got the box that his girl really had, he'd pay a big price if they had to run it up on him, you know. And so he got to eat with Wanda that night. And, of course, we always fixed up a good supper, you know.
Yeah.
Lord, or I don't know what all. Always meal pie and some kind of maybe fried chicken. That is so rare. Many people have fried chicken them days.
Yeah.
And our sandwiches and cake, you know, and so on. And so that was another way of entertaining.
Yeah.
And Lord, I tell you, they look forward to that.
Yeah, I bet.
That was a grand way for them to meet their girlfriend. And let's see if there's any other way. Don't remember no other way. That's the two had two good ways. And I don't know what comes next. I'm trying to think. Well, anyway, the parents was really interested in the children them days. They helped them with their box suppers and ice cream suppers and, you know, everything, because they wasn't no other way of entertaining them. That's all we had.
Well, you told me one time you worked in a sewing factory.
Huh?
Did you tell me one time you worked in a sewing factory?
Oh, that's way later. Wait till I get to that.
Yeah.
That's after I'm married. Now wait, I didn't know. Gotta tell this. I worked in my Earl's store. He had materials, and well, it's just everything.
Yeah.
Cookware.
General store.
Just a general merchandise store, and he kept a lot of material, bowls, and I was just learning how to sew when he told me I could stay in there. He'd pay me to stay in there to let him have Daddy work, and of course you didn't have many customers, but I had to be there all day long. So what I'd do, I'd take, Lenny was, first time I remember sewing for her, she was about 7 or 8 years old. And I took her with me to the store and got me down a pink material, solid pink, and took my paper and stood her up and cut my pattern out around her neck, made her a dress and finished it up that day. First time I ever sewed. And I tell you what, the little jacket buttoned up, and it had the belt about so wide around here, and you sewed buttons on the blouse, and made buttonholes in the bottom part and buttoned it up. Buttoned them together. That's the first dress I made for Lenny, my sister. Done a real good job. So from that on, I made my own clothes. I got so I didn't. My mother couldn't hardly feed me at all.
Yeah.
And she said, now you, at about 12, she said, you just go out and sew for yourself. And I started making my own clothes. And then I made Lenny's and Lois's. See, Lenny was 4 years younger and Lois was 2 years. And I made all their clothes. I made Blanche's because she couldn't sew worth a dime. She's just as neat as she could be with her stitches, but she didn't know how to really put them together. I sewed for them, Lois and Lenny and Blanche. And I made shirts, made clothes for the boys, and then started making my own clothes. And Ting, I'll tell you how good he was to us. My daddy drank. And when he got out of the army, he went to Indianapolis, got him a job. And I tell you this while I think of it, he was about one boy in 100, lined up. He's the only one picked out of that bunch to get a job that day. Now, what do you think about prayers?
Yeah.
Mother was praying.
Yeah.
And he got that job, and he would make as much as $100 and some every 2 weeks.
Thank God.
He was the inspector on the trains.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I tell you, he was always honest and punctual and a good worker. He said them bosses can tell who'll work to look at them.
Yeah.
Don't point him out of all his boys. Well, he got him a job, made good money, and Daddy drank up his money. Oh, he had plenty of money, but he didn't think we needed to dress up much, so Teen dressed us up. That's one reason I loved him so good. He helped us to have good clothes to wear when we was having our dates,
Yeah.
So he would send us material, real pretty material, enough for Lois and Lenny's dresses and whoever else, and mail them to me, and a pattern. I'd tell him what kind of pattern to get, and I did he'd give them to me, and I done the sewing, and we kept them up.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Oh, he got some pink wool, that's thin sheer material, and blue. Got pink for Lenny and blue for Lois, because Lois is red-headed. And I made them dresses, Richard. When we look at our pictures, I'll show you some of them. Put a ruffle from the hip all the way to the bottom, and gather them ruffles and hem them, and make them dresses, and make this part up here. I'll show you. Come across like this, and all them ruffles. You talk about something pretty. And I made them, that's their best dress that summer. And I made them dresses that summer. And I made Lenny's wedding dress. It was brown silk. I'd go to town and mark off these dresses when in life I seen something I liked, or look in a book and mark it off and cut my pattern and make it just like that. I could have been a designer, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'd had a chance. But I made her the prettiest brown. I bet you I've got a picture with her on that dress. I want you to either bring the pictures over here, all of them, and go through them, or you come over there or something. I want to give you what you want of them, because you appreciate things where a lot of them don't give a hoot.
Yeah.
You know, old pictures, but I love them.
I do too.
And here's where I made the top. I made the dress crossover like this. No, not that, and I didn't. I made a round neck, and I made a thing come down like this, and this is full of little bitty pleats. I had to send the material out there and let Teen have it pleated, because we couldn't do it to stay, you know.
Yeah.
And the skirt, I believe, was pleated, but I still got that picture. I'll show it to you. And made the dress with a sash, I believe, come around and tie on the side. Oh boy, I tell you, people wanted my patterns, and I never did have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wanted to mold me. Oh, you know, the ones that knew me.
Yeah.
Because they know that I was keeping it in style. Lord. No, they didn't want me to give my patterns away. No way. They wanted to be different.
Yeah.
That's the way girls are. And so I made her that beautiful brown dress, and she married in it. And she had a hat to match. I think I made her a silk hat one time to go with it. But here then he said me and Blanche a big hat apiece. The pretty big red. I've got pictures with them on. I'll show them to you. Big old broad brim felt hat, roll your brim where you want it, you know. Hers is green and mine was rose color. Oh Lord, honey, them cost $3.50 a piece at that time. He always got the best, you know, when he buy our clothes. And boy, did people brag on us. We felt so big to think, poor old Dad, a drunken wouldn't buy nothing here. We'd come out all dressed up with these clothes on my brother gave us. And now what happened, Wanda's clothes, when she come along, she furnished Teen's girls with pretty clothes because we had plenty of money. And, you know, and
yeah.
Daddy would buy ready-made dresses and pay. One of them was $18. That was a lot of money then. And a red dress over a two-piece, and I can remember some of the pretty dresses that given to Juanita and them. And so I told Teen one time, I said, well, you're so good to us when we was in teenagers and all. And then here your children come along, Wanda come along, and we got to dress your children. You know, I can just look back and see it through all of it, how
yeah.
wonderful God has been.
Yeah.
And so let's see what else dresses they give me. I don't know what to come up next. Because I just can't talk loud. What did you ask me a while ago?
How about that sewing factory?
That comes way long after we married and had Henrietta. Let me see which one here.
Well, how long after you was married did you go to Texas?
Huh?
How long after you was married when you went to Texas? How long had you been married?
Little Richard. Richard is big enough to remember his trip out there.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. Now, well, I'll tell you about the sewing factory. Anyway, we moved to Indianapolis, and we lived there twice. The first time 1 year, and then moved back to, you know, and then we moved.
Why did you go there the first time?
Henrietta was 1 year old.
Yeah? What, looking for work?
Yeah. Nordyke cars, what kind was it that is so high priced? Nordyke or something. Anyway, they were.
What, you mean like a train car?
A certain car, like a Cadillac.
Oh.
And they made them, and they paid big high price. Well, we went out there for him to make money. And So this is when Teen was in. Teen got out of the army. He come and roomed with us. 1818 again.
Yeah.
Henrietta was a year old or something anyway. And so Teen roomed with us. We rented a house with a front bedroom and a back bedroom, and we let Teen have the front bedroom. We took a bathroom, rented to him for so much a week. And honey, he bought food for us. Lord have mercy. Cook, you talk about a good cook. He cooked in the army.
Yeah.
And when we'd go to Kentucky on a visit, come back, he'd have our supper cooked. Have Dutch apple pie and steak and gravy and biscuit. He'd make the best. Lord have mercy. He was a good cook.
Yeah.
Well, we sure did. Well, that's where we all got so close together, was living together and cooking and eating together. You know, that really makes people mighty close.
Boy, did Teen and Grandpa both work at the place where they made cars?
No, I don't know what. No, he went in there. He inspected
Train cars.
Travel cars.
Yeah.
You know, like what you call it, L&Ns.
Yeah, train.
And so anyway, well, let's see if I can get it together now. It's been a long time. Him and Arthur bought a car together. This comes up right now. That's while he's rooming with us. And he was courting a girl that was a school teacher, and very big body, and beautiful. I'll show you her picture. This will all come in. You'll get to see a lot of stuff someday. Oh, she was a model. Crazy about him. They got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
My mother prayed a lot. She ran around with him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and wasn't what she ought to been, and prayed a lot, and they broke up. And so anyway, his mother told him to watch her. Girl's alive, and he caught her with another boy. Slid, went over to her place, didn't let her know he's coming.
Yeah.
He broke up right now, and left her alone. So anyway, then while they had their car together, Teen was had a date with her. This is when he caught her. Had a date with her no, he didn't make her date. He just decided he'd come in early, I believe, and go check on her. And he was in a big hurry to get home in the car and wrecked the car and tore it up. But it didn't hurt him.
Yeah.
He got out, I think, without a scratch. But it tore the car up. Honey, they didn't give nothing hardly for it, but they had the money in it, you know.
Yeah.
Divided. Well, oh yeah, he was in a hurry to get home to slip over there. He goes there before he comes on home, and the car was wrecked too, you know. And he told Arthur what he'd done, and so he caught her with another man, and she lied to him, and so he just quit her right now.
Yeah.
Well, then he kept staying with us till we got ready to move back, and we went down to Kentucky right away on a visit, and come back, and when we got back on Sunday night, he had a big old thick Dutch apple pie with apples, you know, cut up in there. They call them Dutch apples, you know.
Yeah.
The crust, wrinkle, oh Lord. And had a great big old steak, a skillet full of steak, country fried steak,
Yeah.
ribs, biscuits. Oh, we glad. We were so hungry, we didn't know what it was to eat out.
Yeah.
Them days, you know.
Yeah.
There wasn't no restaurants hardly. We wasn't able to eat out no way. So anyway, we had the best supper, and he told him all about what he'd done, and he just kept staying with him till we got ready to move back, and he moved. And he stayed out there, and got him a room. And we moved back down to our little house, and yeah, Fred Bonner. So then that was our last time rooming together, was then. When we got separated that time, we didn't get to live in with him no more. But every time we went off, he'd cook and have it ready for us when we got back. And he'd cook, clean up the dishes, make up bed. I tell you, he's one wonderful old boy.
Yeah.
My mother taught him how to make beds, and he never did leave my house one time without making that bed up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was well, I said he was just a model person. He was raised up to be a Christian and never got saved till he was 30. I believe he's 30 years old.
Really?
I think it was. He's way up there. See, he bought this house. My cousin, Alfred Lawrence. He drank all the time, and he owned this house where Teen lives, where Juanita lives now. You've been to that old house.
Yeah.
Well, my cousin owned that, and he got to drinking so bad till he had to sell it, and Teen bought it and got a bargain, I think. He bought the house. So then he lived by himself till he got married, and then after he got married, well, they lived in that little old house there, and we all stayed close. We visited them a lot, and they visited us, and we eat together a lot. That makes people love each other,
Yeah.
cooking and eating together. So then let's see what happened after he. Well, it's just wonderful that he was able to buy him a house before he married even. Oh, yeah, and my cousin moved back from Indianapolis, him and his wife, in the meantime, and had a bunch of pretty furniture. And so he was Aunt Molly's boy, and when they moved out, she wanted to separate him. She's one of them fast women,
Yeah.
and got that old country boy to marry her. And she had been married, and she had the prettiest dresser, and buffet, and had the whole outfit, she had the kitchen furniture, the bedroom furniture, and the living room, and I bought it all for $150. Teen sent the money. I wrote and told him if she wanted to sell it, and I could buy it if I had the money, and he sent me the money, and I bought that furniture, and they started housekeeping with a house full of furniture for nothing.
Yeah.
And I got to use it before I married. You know I was married. I mean, me and Arthur didn't have nothing, and he let us use it till he got married. Oh, I hate to see that purchase.
How bad?
Of course, we didn't have money to buy no more. Now, that's part of the story. And let's see. What else links in with that? Anyway, it was a lot of people would have bought it if I hadn't had the chance at it first,
Yeah.
But she lived down a hill below us, and she sold it to us. And the Lord has been with me with so many wonderful things. It amazes me when I go to thinking about it. Now that was just handed to us, you might say, a gift.
Yeah.
Well, the stove would have cost that.
Yeah.
Had a cook stove, kitchen cabinet, beautiful kitchen cabinet, table, chair, everything. Well, I was tickled to death to get to use it for a while. And then, of course, we bought that house in Bonner, and it all worked out good anyway. We just went to Daddy's sale and bought that old dresser and wash stand for $1.50 a piece. Marble top. And got bed.
What, was that after your daddy died, you mean?
Huh?
You said you went to what sale now?
My daddy died, and they had an auction sale.
Yeah.
And had the dresser, washstand, and bed to match.
Yeah.
Old timey, big old. Either of them's got the bed now.
Oh, really?
Wanda's got the dresser and the washstand.
Yeah.
Somebody ought to get all that together someday. You know what it
Yeah.
is about antique? Be a history back of that.
Yeah.
Well, I got that when I moved out, and when we moved in our little house then, Mr. Gray gave us that little farm up there. Where it's lower than them.
Yeah.
Well, let's see then, what comes next? Oh, we got wagon, the mules, 2 mules and a wagon, and plows, all kind of farm furniture for nothing hardly.
Yeah.
And there we was, just set up there, just a miracle.
Yeah.
There we had been out of farming, for quite a while, and didn't have a thing in the world, and he just handed to us right there. Richard, I wish I could live longer and I could feel good. We could tell you a whole lot that you'd be proud to know.
Yeah.
Ain't it a shame that we've been so far apart? These people don't appreciate nothing sometimes till you get out like I am now. I see now how wonderful it would have been, but the rest of them wouldn't listen at me. And, you're the only one that cares about listening to me right now. That's the truth. And I know it's be worth something someday. You'd be glad to know all that stuff.
Well, yeah.
I can't talk good enough to make it very plain to you. I'm putting out every bit of strength I've got.
Yeah, I know it.
But now let's see. We moved in up there. Well, we went to farming. I went to helping to do everything for 'em that there was to do. I shucked hay. I have to knock corn stalks, and I have to cut tobacco. I have to hang it on sticks. It wasn't nothing but what I didn't do. And we went to canning up a lot of stuff. We had a good orchard, had a big peach orchard, apples, and we even had what is it one that lives so good? Dried apricots.
Yeah.
Lord, them things is high. We had 3 or 4 trees. We canned up apricots. We made soup bases. We had 100 half a gallon of peaches one year. And had dug a cellar. Got ready to move. We left it there and never did get but a very little anymore. I was afraid to let them set it at the sale.
Yeah.
When it was ours. Richard, I've been treated so bad in so many ways and took it and accepted it, where a lot of people would have never had no more use for Sammy Lee. When there they brought our canned fruit out and we bought some of it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I tell you, if that ain't doing dirty, I want you to tell me what does. We've went through an awful lot. The Lord's been awful good to us, I tell you. Because there ain't many people would have put up with grapes. That's something that was sold for no telling. We had canned grapes, canned apricots, canned peaches, canned apples, and blackberries by the billions. Ooh, I'd go out and pick blackberries and go in and can them 10 or 12 cans a week. Had a world of them. And cherries, I want you to know, as high as they were, we had cans, and we had 12 cans of them great big sweet cherries when they're left there. I think we got 1 or 2 cans and took with us. They got to use what they wanted and then sell the rest and get the money. So God's still taking care of me, though.
Yeah.
I ain't had to work for that. But you know what? I don't know when I'd ever thought of that, but some of them thought it was awful that Sammy Lee was so stingy, honey, it was pitiful. And when brought that canned fruit out, was fixing to sell the old-time bed. If I hadn't got there when I did, it would have been gone.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had it out of the attic. And we drove up, got there a little late, and I said, "What are you doing?" "I'm getting out this old bed of Mama's." I said, "That's my bed." It wasn't let on like everything was Mama's,
Yeah.
And I tell you, I stopped that. That thing would be worth $100 right now, I bet you anything.
Yeah?
I ought to cut the top off of it with an axe, because he didn't like it, because that's what was pretty about it. When he took a notion to do something, he didn't ask nobody nothing. But Richard was lucky enough to find another top that just about matched it and had it fixed.
Yeah?
I think how was it? Somebody left the old bed in my house that had a point to it, and he took that and added on to that. I tell you, the Lord has just worked miracles and miracles.
Yeah?
And now he's got that, and Warren's got the toothbrusher and the washstand, because some way or another, when we bought better furniture, we let her have. We didn't care about them to start with.
Yeah.
They didn't. wasn't pretty. We wanted something new, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a history. I've had a lot of living.
Yeah.
You can see that, can't you? I'll tell you something else in a minute. Got to have some more water. Well, I had some on my tongue. It's gone.
Yeah.
I don't say it right when it comes up, it goes. Let's see. Oh, did I tell you Daddy called them all in before he died and said, children, I want to talk to you. I don't want y'all fussing over nothing when I'm gone. I've heard tell her and said read this story in a history book or something where the Daddy called the family and talked to them, told them he wanted to talk to them about standing together, you know, after he was gone. And before that, he got him ever how many children he had a stick for each one, 7 or 8 sticks, put on, you know, the stick. Said, he said, he put them together, said, now can you break them? Took them apart as easy. Now he said, I tell you, I want y'all to stand together. I don't want no fussing, nobody mad at one another over nothing I've left. I want you to stand together and be agreeable, you know, and give them a good talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, if people would do that nowadays, it'd be a good thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
Would they do it?
no. When people die now, they take them off a machine or something, you know.
Uh-huh.
I said, when people die now, it ain't like it used to be. The whole family ain't, I don't guess they're there like they used to be.
Oh, no, I guess not. But anyway, told it, and if there's ever anybody mad, I don't know who it was. Of course, my brother Earl was the poorest one in the family, and they never could prosper. Looked like, you know, everybody ain't made alike.
Yeah.
He worked hard, but he just couldn't manage. Teen was a manager, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, my daddy said, now listen, said they've been in town, and she don't have no chicken, she don't have no fruit, or nothing. And said, I want y'all to give her all the chicken, give her all the canned fruit, and all the quilts, because she ain't been able to make quilts.
Who? Who was he talking about?
Daddy told all my brother and sister got them together and told them what to do. And he had a bunch of hens, and listen, he had canned fruit like a woman.
Yeah.
Had all kinds of sitting in there on that floor. Then what did I do? I divided every bit of it with Earl, because he was poor and couldn't make a go.
Yeah.
Give him part of the quilts, part of the chickens, part of everything he gave me. The rest of them all had stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But Richard, I've always felt like if you seen some of your folks that couldn't do as good as you could, if you could do something for them, do it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the reason I helped Wanda back out of some of my room money. But I worked and earned it.
Well, yeah.
They didn't make it. And if one over there, if the others had been that way, I'd have done it for them.
Yeah, I know it.
Now that's the truth. But some of them was awful jealous, honey. But let me tell you, He's gonna deal it out to us the way it is.
Yeah.
It's sirree. And I tell you, she wouldn't have had a home if it hadn't been for me giving her money to pay her taxes.
Yeah.
That's the truth, $600. But I'd pray, and y'all would have me praying, I'd get a bunch of rumors. Get the money. And it didn't come out about the crazy money either.
No.
That's what I told them. I said, it is my idea. As Fanny Lawrence said, I could have managed a lot better than Arthur didn't know how. He didn't know how to save his money like I did. No, sir. Look what we lost in South America.
Yeah.
If we'd had that money, I wouldn't have had to keep a rumor. And another thing, we let them preachers take the camp away from us. That wasn't right. Arthur thought he had it fixed so I'd get that back if it didn't have campground.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't right. We've had a lot of bad deals, but I'm still here, still breathing.
That's all that counts.
Well, the Lord's been awful good. What time is it?
It's almost midnight.
Huh?
It's almost 12 o'clock.
Well, it's right cute.
Okay.
But there ain't many people had a time. No, we was old. Our daddy was so strict with us. Never got to get outside of that place very much. So we heard they was going to have a fish fry down at Hardin Coves on the 4th of July, 19 and what was it, 17 or 18?
17, probably.
I guess it was. I didn't have no feller, I know. Anyway, we got in that old buggy and was we happy. Got to drive down to the fish fry by ourselves. It was about 5 or 6 miles from home anyway. Might have been more. So anyway, we got down there. Blige talked to Rodney, one of the boys, you know, was her sweetheart. That's the reason she wanted to go. And so I met up with Jewel Landon. You don't know none of them, but anyway, I knew her and got acquainted with him. She said everybody nearly had, the men folks had gone down to the river. She talked real proud and said, let's go down there. Said, I want to see Holland. I said, who's Holland? Oh, that's my boyfriend. I said, well, I don't have one. We walked down that big old steep hill and got down there where looking up here, said Arthur on a straddle of a log and Holland standing by him. And as soon as they seen us, they come down and Jewel hollered and told Harlan that she wanted to see him. They come on down. And, oh, Lord, she made me acquainted with Arthur. We fell in love right then. He held me up the hill, held my arm. I hadn't had nobody ever do that. He called my arm, held me up, you know. I said, oh, I was tickled to death. So, went up there, we all talked a while, and it's time to go home. And he said, when could he see me? And I said, I don't know. He said, Brother Joe's going to have ice cream supper next Saturday night. Said, you come up there and I'll be there and I'll see you. So that's what we did, and I told you about that already.
Yeah.
Anyway, so afterward, why, who was it said that? Said, Harlan told that some of them said that when me and Jewel walked up, Arthur said, there's my girl. And I told her, there's my boy. Now that's the way we met, fell in love. And then for 9 months, let's see, that was June, and we married, let's see, the next June the 15th.
Yeah.
So that's the story. Turn that out, I can't stand that lot. Richard, that old boy done away with every piece that come with that. All he had left was till he done something with the light, with everything but just the fan.
Yeah.
Richard took it home. He was going to buy pieces for it and give it to one of the boys, I think. Yeah, you put everything in it because I saw the box on the back porch. Where you start out with that. What about telling about a friend? Well, it ain't on, is it?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Richard and Lloyd and Glenn come over one day. They come over to Glenn's and they said, we don't want to go to Sunday school down here today. We don't get nothing out of it. Said, will you let us have a little service here in the living room? And I said, why, yes. Went in there and they sung several little choruses like they sung over to the camp. And then Lloyd said, we're going to have church now. And said, he's going to be the preacher. And he got up on a little stool and preached. And then after that, they all sang songs, and he preached. And then, what did I say next? What did I say next? Is that doing any good?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to pray. And so Lloyd preached, and then they got down to pray, and he got down and he said, "Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful home and for the wonderful food Mother Grace fixed for me, and for the wonderful home, and goodbye, God." And so that's when Lloyd and Lynn sat in a laugh, and they just died laughing, and Lynn said, "Well, he should have said amen." I said, "Y'all shut up." I said, "That's the cutest little prayer I ever heard." I said, "He's just going to tell God he's going to see him later." And so then, what else did I start telling about? Oh, what did I start to tell something? Oh, and then they all come one time to stay all night, and Diane was the oldest one, and Arthur next, and we got upstairs, the door was open to that big old attic, in that big room, and they got on the bed and stretched out across the bed. There was three of them, and one of them said, "Now, Grandmother, don't you tell us no ghost stories." And I said, "Oh, shut up. If there had been any ghosts up there, they'd have done eat me up." And so little Arthur spoke up and said, "Yeah, I know what you mean." He said, "Me and my buddy was out the other day going to fly that little airplane. The kind that, is it battery or what? He said, goes ziz through the air." They had one, and so he said, we turned it on, and said he went way up in the top of the tree, and said, we stood there and said, "Well, we can't get it. What are we going to do?" And little Arthur said, he had his buddy with him. He had went to school with him. He was with him too. And said the little boy, "What are we going to do?" And Arthur said, "I know. We'll pray about it." And he put his hand over his eyes and looked up 3 times. And the last time, it was 3 or 4 times. The last time he looked up, the airplane was right down where they could reach it. And I said, "Arthur, you make me ashamed of myself. I'm afraid you got more faith than I have." I said, "To think that y'all prayed and that little airplane is put right down where you could reach it." And I said, "God's going to use you. You're going to have wonderful faith." And so sure enough, that boy has. He's always had a lot of faith in prayer. And when they was going to buy my house, they never found one they could buy. Wasn't none for sale. And so finally they found this, and I think that they was going to get a divorce. I think the couple was going to get a divorce as the reason they found that house. So anyway, they like to not got the deal made or something. One day Arthur said to Edith, "Mother, we're going to have to pray a little harder to get this house." And so sure enough, they got the house, and I told them I'd spent a lot of time praying and begging the Lord to let them have it, and it was only through prayer that they found that house. They had to put in a bid, and he put the right bid in. And I said, "Don't tell me God don't answer prayer." And they've loved that house ever since. And so that's the way I did about Wanda's house. When she was going to buy, I went up there with them to look for a house to try to pay the down payment, help them, me and Richard. So we found one house that she liked pretty good, but you went in the front door and there was about a dozen steps upstairs, but right in front of the front door. And I said, "Lord, you never could stand going up and down them steps. That won't do." And I had to come back home Didn't find nothing. Honey, it was the hottest day you've ever seen in your life. We rode all day long, looking every ad. We had a paper to look for everything that's for sale and look everywhere we could. Couldn't find one thing except that one house. And I said, don't take that, Fred. You'd never be happy. Because I said, we're going up and down steps like that. It's hard on a woman, you know, with raising a family. And so then we come on home and right away, and I said, well, I'll keep praying. Me up one day. Now the house, what they have is a doctor owned it, and he decided he wanted to go back to school and get some more training, and that's how come her to get that house, or they wouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
And what I mean, it went all over Hickory and out the edge of Hickory, and there wasn't nothing to be found. So, come on home, and I kept praying. One day I was down praying. Somebody said, she's going to get it if somebody has to die or move out. So she called me up today too. She said, Mother, she was so excited. She said, can you come up here right quick? I said, what in the world happened that I have to be in such a big hurry? Well, we found a house. Well, I said, don't you think it'll stay there till I get there? So anyway, I went up in a few days, and me and Richard let him have the money to pay down the down payment on it. And Lord, was she tickled. It was all newly painted. No, it needed paint, and they hired it painted after bought it for real cheap. Got somebody before they moved in, you know. And Lord, they was tickled to death. So happy with it. So she's been really happy with it ever since. And so I know God answers prayer if you trust Him. You know, there's such a thing as turning everything over to God. You try to run it yourself, you can't do it. Like Wanda said, these girls got invited to go to the revival here lately. And Bonnie left it so good that she went back with them several times and said that the girls is Christians, and they said, and Bonnie told them what a hard time she'd had it trying to get ahead, and just sells Avon, and she sells Stanley, works at that place regular, just on the grow all the time. I told her she don't have time to relax. That's no way to live. She needs to take God for a partner. So they told her, they said, you'll never make it by yourself. Said, you're going to have to get hooked up with the Lord and let Him help you. So she's been going with them to that meeting and really happy with it. And I told Wanda to tell her to keep it up and to get that little girl, take her to Sunday school. Nicole's an extra smart child. Round enough I know Richard. She's not smart, but she's just by herself, but she loves to work better than anybody I ever seen in my life. She helped y'all load the furniture, didn't she?
Yeah.
What she could do. And she'd get in there if Wanda's going to cook a meal. She'd get in there and help fix everything, even the stirring the cornbread and everything. She don't want to leave her hand out of nothing.
Yeah.
And she she peels all the onions and the potatoes and the carrots and gets the celery ready. Now, all of that stuff, don't you touch that. She don't want nobody else doing it. She is what I call a miracle child. You don't see many like that. 4 years old that loves to work. Make a bed up good as anybody. And the lady that Wanda hired to help, she come in my room to make up the bed and told Nicole to get out. I said, you just let her alone. And she got on that other side of that bed and folded everything just perfect. And I told Wanda, I said, you've done a good job raising her up this far. I said, keep it up. You've got her to where she prays and says she's God's child. She said, told Wanda, I said, I'm God's child. And let her keep it up till she gets to where she is God's child, all right, but to where she knows she needs to be born again, and she'll be all right. Wanda said, what if I die before she does? Well, what become of her? I said, put her in the hands of God. Just turn her over to the Lord and tell the Lord to take care of her, and pray now. Send up prayers for her. I said, he'll see to her.
Yeah.
And I believe it too, children. I'll tell you, here's an example. I've tried to turn everything over to God all my life, and some things is awful hard to turn loose. Richard knows one struggle I had trying to, because I wanted Elaine to have that commission on sending the land. I was so tore up for it, I like to lost some. After I done, when I thought I was doing right, I didn't. But I tell you, if you would have stopped, Richard said one day, you got to turn that over to the Lord. So I found out that's all in the world you can do. And if you don't, you're in a pickle of a shape.
Yeah.
So the Lord has been, when I look back and I see how God has answered my prayers all through the years, I know that my mother put me in the hands of God before she died. This is coming up. I'm going to talk as it comes up. I like to died with a bad sore throat when I was about, I guess, 12 years old, 13, 14, I don't know. Never wrote nothing down. But anyway, all I could drink was some pure, thick cream, cow's cream. Had a dish of it right by my bed, and every night and morning, she didn't leave me night nor day. I forgot how long I was sick, quite a while, and me just swallowing a little cream at a time, just like now, you know, trying to strangle, and to live. And so Mother prayed one night. I heard her praying. She said, Lord, call my name over to the Lord, turned over to you. And if you want her to live in this, you got some work for her to do, let her live. But if not, take her on. Well, God heard that prayer. I got better. And I lived. And that prayer went to heaven. Because I couldn't have done what I've done if I hadn't had the Lord. And that's the prayer she prayed. And so I know I got better right away. I think it was 2 weeks that I was bad sick. And I guess what it was a baby strep throat. It I couldn't swallow nothing but cream, nothing. But I was so raw, you know. So I got over that. Well, then later we all had the flu. This is World War I. My brother was in Germany, and every one of us, my daddy, and there's Lois and Blanche and Lenny and John Ray and Dwight and me. Tina was in Germany and Earl was married, and we was all bed off. Had to go to bed now. I mean, everyone had to be in the bed. My mother kept well and waited on us. She milked the cows. She made the butter. She brought the wood in, and sometimes had to go down the woods to get kindling, you know, some pieces of wood. And real cold. And she kept the fire going and waited on all of us. Had to cook for us, milk the cows, and all of that now by herself, and nobody at all to help her. Well, when we all got up where she could, well, she took the bed, and she prayed to the Lord to give her strength to do all of that, and God let her have strength. And then when we went to bed, she took the bed, and God spared every one of us. But a lot of people died. One of my very best friends, prettiest girl I ever laid my eyes on, I think, Amy Plumley, P.F. Plumley is her last name, and she had it and was pregnant, and she died now. Well, I was pregnant with Henrietta. Was this the same time? I don't know what it was. I can't, maybe a little mixed up, I don't know. But anyway, I was oh, we had the flu before we were married, yeah. But this is then later then, we had the flu again, and I was pregnant. No, I didn't ever take it. I didn't take the flu, that's right, that might have been at the same time. But anyway, I didn't have the flu, and I don't remember anybody else having it at that time. But I didn't die either. But everybody else that we knew about that was pregnant, they died. But I didn't. Her prayers was answered. So Henrietta was, she lucky to be alive. I told her children one time, I said, well, I had come out of the hospital and Sylvia come over there to me to tell them some miracles, you know. And I said, well, Henrietta's a miracle baby. I said, we had her when everybody else around was dying that was pregnant. And I said, you got her through prayer. I said, prayer saved her. We didn't have to give her up. And so that's one thing you can think about, that she was just a miracle that she lived. And that I didn't even have it, you see. I don't know what is so bad about it, but somebody sure did take them out of the world. So let's see then. Let's see what else hooks up with that. I can't remember. That's the end of that story, I guess, there. I think of something else.
Tell us about when you got healed of TB.
Oh, well, that's another story. Me and Arthur moved in with Lois. You never did know, that's my sister and her husband, Jimmy Lanham. She married Jimmy Lanham, and he wasn't no count for nothing. So we moved in with them to save our rent. We'd have better rented the place, but we got our rent for me waiting on Lois because Helen was born, and I waited on her. You remember Helen? No, you're too little. Anyway, I waited on, and the nurse, they had free doctors. The doctors was free. That's like Social Security kind of, they to a couple that was young and didn't have no money, you get a free doctor to bring that baby in the world. So I waited on her, and I was right there when the baby was born. I had managed to fight these two doctors, sent two real young, still in school, out there to bring that baby. And Lois was taken on, and they didn't know even how to help her, I did, to help her with, with the pain. And then they went on, and oh, yeah, one of them said to the other, we're going to have to cut that water bag because it's taking too long to stay around and wait, And I said, now listen, don't you be doing that. I said, let it come right, water bag. They's going to cut the water bag, split it open so the baby heard them come. I tried to get them not to, and they did, though, and when they did, they cut the edge of her bladder some way, and she suffered the rest of her days from them doctors doing the wrong thing. But the baby was born, and then we lived on with them, and I had to take care of her. And the nurses, they had free nurses to come and tell them what to do, and they said I'd have to change her bed every day of the world, and so on, and then wash the clothes, and it was cloudy and rainy, and I hung them out. They said, hang them out. Now that's how much sense I had listened to them. And I took pneumonia, and it went into TB. Oh Lord, you talk about I never had been, we got over flu and everything else at that time. I couldn't get over nothing. And there.
Y'all go outside and play, boys.
So I took the flu and I never did get over it. When Lois got up, I took the bed. And I don't know how long I was sick, but they used mustard plasters on me to try to break it up, you know. Did you ever hear that? And I don't know what all the doctor meant, but I didn't get no better, and I finally went into TB. And so we moved out. We finally moved out and left them in another, oh, honey, a little, you ever know what a double house was? And to where they rent them out, just a wall between two houses.
Yeah.
Well, we moved in that, and chinches were so bad they was coming down the wall. You know, you heard the chinches, but you didn't have them, I know. But you ought to have had some of them little red devils. They could bite you and kill you there. So we moved in that place, and little old dirty place. Everywhere we moved in, we'd clean up and fix it and paper it, and by the time we got it fixed up, move somewhere else. That's some of my life, you know. So, anyway, went in TB. Well, I got to where I wasn't able to sweep my floors. I wasn't able to really be up. And the woman next door put me in mind of this poor woman this morning, real old and not that bad, but she'd cook our meals on weekend. We furnished the food, and she'd cook roast and soup and different stuff and bring it over to our house. She lived next door. Now, let me see. Yeah, that's after we moved. This was a pretty decent place where we moved to her house, but still we had chances. And so, I wasn't able to do no work, so Lois, my sister, and Bessie Alexander, Arthur's sister, they lived in another part of town, and they'd come over there every week, clean up my house for me, and wash my clothes and things like that. You didn't think about hiring nobody them days. You didn't have money to hire them. If you didn't have some kinfolks, it's too bad. But anyway, they come over and do my work. So finally, his the old lady next door said, my husband thinks you've got TB. He said for you to ask the doctor, tell him that my first wife died with TB and that I looked just like she did and coughed like her. Well, I went right as soon as I get an appointment on Saturday morning, and Arthur worked from 3 till 11. So he goes to work as I go to the doctor, and he said, you be sure and have him tell you what's wrong. And when he got back from his job, and I got home from my doctor, he had to go to bed, you know, and try to sleep in it. We didn't sleep a wink all night. We prayed off and on all night, because I thought my time had come. You know, that word just scares us to death. And so then on Sunday morning, Bessie's husband come over from another part of town, and I was laying there in the bed, and I spit on a great big newspaper, big old yellow places spitting up my lungs, they said. Big old flaming pieces of yellow. They say when it's like that, it's infected, you know. And John said, I'll tell you what you do, get a bottle of my medicine, it'll cure you. Hypophosphites. You ever hear of that? That was a remedy for cough. And I said, Lord, we've done took that stuff. It ain't done a bit of good. But anyway, we took everything you could think of, and I kept getting worse. And finally, finally Steve come out there. He heard about me having TB, you know, and he come out there and stayed a while with Lois and come over and see me. And, he was just scared to death. They all were so scared because they know nobody didn't get well of TB them days. You just kept getting worse, you know. But anyway, Ms. Russell took me to church on Sunday morning. This was Saturday that the doctor told me I had TB. And the next morning she said, I want you to go to church with me now. I said, no, Beechel will go to sleep and he's too heavy. Oh, I was Jim, her husband, said, he'll take Beechel. I said, let's go. She got me to go with her. And I thought, oh, Lord, I'll just hold my hand up for prayer, and they'll pray and I'll be healed. Well, the preacher said, now, we ain't got time for no requests today. Said, just raise your hand, and God knows all about you. And I raised my hand for prayer. I went to sleep that night and slept all night. Got up well the next morning. Just through me holding up my hand. You talk about somebody having faith, that old preacher had it. But I was scared to death. I said, Lord, Lord, I thought if I could have just told them what was wrong, you know, just like God didn't know what was wrong. But I was disappointed because I thought, well, they don't know what's wrong. But I was healed that night. I never spit up one thing. I slept, got up the next morning. He worked from 3 to 11, and he worked that Sunday. See, he just had one Sunday off a month. He didn't get to go with us to church that day, just me and her husband. And so, see, I slipped out of the bed. I woke up feeling good. I went in the kitchen. I put a washing of clothes in, and I cooked breakfast, fixed his meal, and everything, and just working up a storm. Didn't have a pain no more than if I'd ever been sick. Now that's the first miracle that I ever did go through, but I learned after that how quick God could work, and so I was really healed. And for several days I would doubt and think, well, some would try to make me think I wasn't healed, you know. And I just keep saying back, I'd say, Lord, I know I am healed. And I just fought that feeling and knocked it away. And there I was healed. Now that's that story. And Team come out there and he was so uneasy about me. I hadn't got well, hadn't got no strength much, but he wasn't even saved, but it made him believe in prayer. So then let's see the next thing. Oh, Richard then was born, you see. I was pregnant with, let me see, was I pregnant or was he done born? I tell you, I believe I was healed 3 months before Richard was born. I believe that's right. And so anyway, let's see, how was it? Oh, you know, I held up my hand, was healed. And I just couldn't hardly believe it, but if it hadn't been a miracle, I would have said I might have died. But there wasn't no way of it coming back. It was gone. And the lady next door, she heard me singing and carrying on that morning after I got up and slipped up out and said, I don't know what's the matter with you. Said, you look happy and I hear you singing. Well, I said, I reckon I'm healed. I said, I ain't coughed this morning. And she said, well, I hope so. And so sure enough, I was healed. But I just did that. But several days, I fought a battle just between the devil and the Lord and telling me I was going to have that cough again, and never did have it. So I was completely healed. And let's see. And, oh. Then, did I ever tell you about how Richard was born? You ever hear of a painless childbirth? Well, you're going to hear one. I hope I'll catch it.
Yeah.
I was so weak from having TB, and I'd pray every day, and I'd say, Lord, I don't know how I ever stand going through giving up to a birth because I'm so weak. I wish you'd carry me through it in a good way when the time comes that I wouldn't have to suffer so bad, you know. With Beechel, I suffered 18 hours. And so when the time comes that I get, now Miss Russell said, you tell Henrietta to knock on that wall there when you get sick and I'll be right over. and the lady over here on the other side too, they both come over. And it had a storm and put the telephones out, and my doctor was 30 miles out in the country. And the man next door now, that his wife was a nurse, had been a nurse for 35 years, just imagine. And he went and got that doctor and brought him in. And I never had even met the man. I look back and I see how wonderful God has been to me. It's just a miracle, really.
Yeah, I know it.
Is it working?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Richard was born time he got there. It had to take so long getting in town, you know. And when I first woke up that night, a hard pain hit me. Oh, Lord. I said, Lord, I thought I was going to have you wasn't going to have to suffer so bad this time. I said, please help me. I got on the slop jar, and I felt like he's going to be born in the slop jar. Oh, I never will forget it. And I had my pains, and that's when I said that, why then, just like you spoke to me, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Well, I got back in the bed, and I could feel him coming down. Just ever so often while he's moving down, but not a pain. It's just too funny to think about. And I thought, finally, I was laying on my side, I believe, and they keep saying, well, I'm uneasy about her, that she ain't had another pain. I had the hard pain, you know, and it just quit. And they keep saying a lot. I just don't understand it between each other. And finally I said, don't y'all worry about me. That baby's a-coming. I said, turn me on my back so I can have it. And they turned me on my back. Another little pressure coming down, and out he come, kicking and a-crying. And they had a cord around his neck, and they had to hold it off to keep from choking him until the doctor got there. And when he got there, well, he was already born. And, he was so mad because he wasn't going to get but, let's see, the chair's $25, and if it's already born, it'd give $15. And he was so mad about it, I reckon that was it, that he just got a hold of my childbirth, whatever you call it, afterbirth, and pulled it from me. I hollered, I said, Lord have mercy. I said, I didn't have a pain. This baby born, and I said, now, I said, you're going to cause me to suffer. And you know what? I had pains and female trouble and had to use a syringe and medicine for years because of what he done to me. And, you know, it's just too bad. As I say, I've found it out a lot of ways. And money talks. And it don't care who it hurts. But there I had to suffer for. Well, I suffered till I was give up to die from my wound, having trouble, and used a syringe. And when I used the syringe with that medicine, I had about that much of looked like clabbered milk. It passed from me when I used the syringe, and that was the mouth of my wound. It eat the mouth of my wound off the medicine. Lord, you talk about hurting, honey. I took sick that night. I said, Arthur, call the kids, I'm a-dying. He got them all up, and they went to praying. And I got through it. But he said, the mouth of my wound was so sore that I felt like somebody had a hold over with a pair of pliers to pull it. And I suffered till then. We got different ones to pray for me. And there was three preachers that held revival at Glasgow. In the meantime, and I was suffering so bad, and after they always praying that morning, I thought I was dying, but they prayed for me and I was healed. But before that, Lord, nobody knows what I did suffer. So after they prayed, our body just like a snake crawling off. Just felt, look, it just felt like crawling all the way down and out with my feet. And I wanted Arthur to take me, have me checked and see what they said. And he finally took me up there to Dr. York, and it didn't hurt no more than nothing. When he examined me, that was healed up. And I went on down to Dr. Stone, an old family doctor, and he wanted to examine Arthur about that ulcer stomach. And I won't tell you what happened. Yeah. Then he said he wanted to listen to me because I had had a goiter, and I didn't know whether I still had one or not.
Rick, y'all had her telephone. What? Y'all had her telephone.
I was healed.
Yeah.
Completely. And when I went to Dr. Stone and he had me get on the table, he said, "Come here, Pokie." His wife, I was named after his wife, said, "I want you to look at here." Said, "That's the healthiest mouth on her wound of anybody I've ever examined. It looks like new baby skin." And I won't tell you, that's what it was. The Lord had healed me and put a new skin on the mouth of my wound where that had eat all of that off. And every doctor I went to after, they'd say, "Well, you got the healthiest looking mouth of your wound to anybody, any young person." And God just put me in there, and that's the reason I've never had to have an operation. But I was completely healed.
So you're just named after Dr. Stone's wife?
Yeah, he told Mother if she would name me after his wife, he'd give me a big doll. That's how I got my name. And when I got the doll, it didn't last long. The house burned up, the doll with it. My brother Teen woke up, and let me tell you how many was in there to have to get out, and the house was afire. Dwight, Blanche, Lois, John Ray, and me, and Earl, and Teen. And how many was that? Anyway, he woke up and the house is afire, and I can hear him now. "House is on fire, get out quick." And he got around and woke all of us up and got us out of that house. And when we got out, it fell in.
Yeah.
I stood there crying for him to get my doll out of there. And we all got up with our night clothes on. All we had was night clothes on now, you know. We never got a stitch and nothing out. And when we walked out, it fell in. And I was crying for my doll, get my doll. She was under my bed. Had no time to get nothing. And everybody said, "What a miracle." That he got all of us awake. And part was upstairs, Richard.
Yeah.
And you know, part of us was asleep upstairs, most of them. Got us just as soon as we got out of safety, well, the thing fell in. So you see, we're a miracle person.
Yeah.
Just for God spared us. Well, let's see, I don't know what I think of anything else. Guess that's about it. Cut it off a little bit if you want to. I can't think right now. Let's see. Well, I wanted to be a teacher so bad that my teacher I had after I got a girl here, but she was so pretty and sweet. I just loved her. Have you got a cold air turned on?
Is it? Probably is.
You hot?
No,
Well,
I'm fine.
I don't believe I can stand that much.
No, that gets cold when the air conditioner's on.
That'd be enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get no hoarser.
I'm gonna go see about Ricky. I think she's gone for a ride.
Huh?
Ricky's riding with Jonathan.
wait till she comes back. You got it cut off.
No. What'd you do? Have a school bus come by and pick you up?
School bus shucks. We had to walk up, the first thing we done, we went down a hill, crawled the valley, and go by my Aunt Molly's house. We had to go right by it, and the little creek right here, a foot log about that wide. I mean, it's just wide enough to walk on. There's a tree cut down.
Yeah.
And we had to go across that, and when the creek was up, we were so scared we'd straddle it. Get down there and scoot across. And anyway, got across the creek then. When I got across, the next thing was to go up another hill. And all the way that we could. I told them we had to go across a foot log to go to school, and we'd sometime have to straddle it. It wasn't nothing but a tree, cut down and smoothed off a little. And we'd get across that, then we'd have to go up another hill, steep hill, and hold the little trees. If it was raining or slicky, we'd have to hold the trees to get up, keep them scooting down.
Good.
And it had to go about a mile. And then there was our little schoolhouse. And we all loved to go to school. Oh, I did love. I wanted to be a teacher so bad it was funny. There was no way. We went to school, let's see, from December till, we ended up in the fall. Went to school in the fall and ended up, we didn't go no more after Christmas as our schooling. Well, that's how we got our education. And this girl that I want to go see in Indianapolis so bad, me and her went to school together, my second cousin, and we were both full of meanness. And the old man that passed by the school, they called him Moss. He was lazy. He'd be riding a horse and his wife walking. And us kids would holler and say, "Walk, Kitty, and let what did I say his name was? Moss. Let Moss ride." And boy, we gets a tickle, and me and Mamie got a tickle one day. When we got in the house, we couldn't quit laughing. The teacher made us get up there at that blackboard and write out something about 50 times. 'Cause we had. But it's the truth. That old man would be riding that horse, and a woman would walk inside of him. And they'd all say, "Ride Moss and let Kitty walk." They want me to come up there so bad. She's the same age, I think, that I am now. But when we see our pictures, I'm going to show you how much older she looks than I do. Funny. So we had, that's our education. And Nan, she had a grown daughter that never married till she got way up in years. And she let her nurse till she was going to school.
Good.
And what we get so tickled about, we'd pass along and she'd have her titty mate push through the paling fence, and mother on that side and the kid on this side of nursing.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know when I'd ever thought of that. That was the funniest thing to us that ever was. And she'd come at recess and dinner, and get her dinner. Oh, and that poor mother, her sold whiskey for a living. Didn't have to. They had land, And listen, her husband is a good old Baptist deacon in the church, real religious. And one time they was having an arbor meeting, out in the woods. And he was down a praying. And just praying. And so he heard somebody say, "Take him out of here. He ain't fitting to be in here." The old fella raised up, said, "Yeah, take him out." Said he ain't fitting to be in here, and he was the one that's talking about. He wouldn't quit praying. Yeah, that's right. My daddy said that is so. Oh, they can tell some funny things. I wish I could remember everything he ever did tell us. My daddy was really jolly, but he'd tell funny things. One time he drank some, and him and his brother was a drinking, and they were riding their horses and going across this creek, and Daddy fell off in the water, and said, Uncle Frank said, "Yeah," said, "I bet you cooled your copper off this time." Let him lay there. His shadow, you know, you can see the rock bottom and real shallow water. Let him lay there. And one time Uncle Harmon, he's a deacon in church, but he would drink sometime and kept a little bottle of whiskey, you know, for medicine. They got too much sometimes. And one time, you see, how was he? I was going to tell him, it's on my mind. Oh, his boy drank too. He was grown, and he come in one day, and Uncle Harmon was laying in the floor drunk. And he looked at him and said, "Pa, I just need one more drink. I'm going to give it to him." He poured the whiskey down him, and him like he killed him. He said, "Pa, I just need one more drink." He like to kill Pa. They just said, now that's the fun people had then, Richard. Well, you know what? They were good old people. They done all they knowed to do.
Yeah.
That whiskey is supposed to have been real good for a bad cold. Well, I want to tell you now, my aunt, what is her name? Berthy Hicks. She was my daddy's daughter, my daddy's brother's daughter. Well, all them folks drink, you know, and all. So something happened to one of the boys that he got on a drunk and decided he'd kill Berthy's husband. I don't know. Something happened up, but they couldn't forgive him, I reckon. And one day they was out riding, and he shot him on his horse, I think they said. Well, then she married again, and her daughter is one of them that if I get to go to Indianapolis, I'll get to see her but don't know syrup kind of, because she's a good girl. Yeah, Berthy Hicks. They talked a lot about that, about the time that he killed him, you know. Brother-in-laws, I believe is the way it was. Oh, when people got mad them days, did you ever know that Teen shot a man?
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, and Gordon Ritchie was an outlaw in them days. He done everything mean he could, I reckon, and I don't know, I think he had killed somebody. And so Teen was always a good old boy, you know what I mean, moral. He didn't drink and everything. And then Gordon Ritchie got it in for him, but he's going to kill Teen. That's what they told me. And so one day, Teen was going somewhere on the horse, and Gordon Ritchie got on the horse, and he found out where Teen was going, and met him on the road, and had his gun, and he's going to kill Teen, you know. And he pulled his horse up to Teen's horse and held to the bridle some way and was going to hold the horse still and shoot him. And Teen reached under the horse's neck and got the boy's gun and killed him.
Oh.
Now that's the way I was told it's the way it happened. And he got cards of congratulations, letters. Everybody was glad that boy was gone. Everybody was afraid of him.
Yeah.
He was just a real outlaw, you know. And so he never did worry about it, Richard.
Yeah.
He come in and cried. I never will forget it that night. And told Mother he'd killed Gordon Ritchie. And I remember Mother and them being so glad that he did, because if he hadn't killed him, he'd have killed Ted, see?
Yeah.
And you know, there's where prayer come in again. And she knew that he'd threatened that and prayed for God to spare Ted. And that's the way it happened. It just reached under the neck and took his own gun and killed him. Now that's a miracle. Oh, I tell you, my mother was a praying woman. Everybody, if you could hear people talk about her that knew her, she had the name of being a friend, you know, and her prayers would be answered. And when they'd have revivals, they'd have her praying in public, I could remember. And I remember my daddy saying amen in the amen corner at the Baptist church. And I tell you, that old feller said if they needed any money, Al Lawrence is the one that they called on. So he could get the money if he didn't have it, you know. And of course there wasn't much money to be had in them days. And that old Baptist church was kept up mostly by him. And I can remember how he'd come to the house singing. He loved to sing. He could sing good. He couldn't even read nor write till he married. My mother taught him how to read the Bible. But he was smart. Lord, he could make the money. And I could hear him coming from the barn to the house, singing old time songs. Let's see if I can think of one he loves so good. Something about the night is coming to be ready or something. I don't know, but it was a pretty old song, but that was his favorite song. He come with a bucket of milk singing them old songs. And I tell you one thing, I remember us having our family prayer. He'd be right over in that corner praying. My mother'd be over here, and us kids strung out across. And saying them prayers, you know. At them times, that's just, you had to, I reckon most everybody had family prayers, you know. And there wasn't nowhere to go, only to go to church. And we had no radios and no television. But, you know, I tell you, but the family stayed close together, you know. And I say the reason they did, they prayed together. There's a song, you know, family prays together, stay together. But they sure did pray together. And we had after all, I think we had a wonderful life. And we girls, Daddy taught us to do pranks on people, you know. One time Mr. Holman had a bunch of boys, one girl and a bunch of boys. And them boys and our boys, you know, brothers all played together and worked together. And one time my daddy told Teen and them to get Mr. Harden's. There was one named Harden and one Corbin and Harvin. There was three of them. Told them to get them up there some night to tell them he wanted them to help catch some snipes. You ever heard tell of the snipes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know such a thing. You remember that? Told them to get them up there and told Teen and them one of them to get a sheet on him and to get around and to get them boys to doing something, and then for this with a sheet on to come out and scare them. Lord have mercy, honey. Them boys run back home and like to knock the daddy out of his chair. He said and read the newspaper. I said, Daddy said, we've been trying to catch snipes tonight. Said Mr. Lawrence told him to help his boys, but we never could catch them. Shut up, boys. Y'all know how Alf is. Said he just playing a prank on you. There ain't no such a thing. Just such a thing. That's the fun they got out of living. And let's see what else was the thing. Oh, so one time me and Lois and Lydia and Blige, there was 4 of us, and we all of us growed up together. We was done already teenagers. And Daddy let us get the little nigger girls, there's about 4 of them, to come over there and help rake leaves or clean up the yards. And this time we made it up to get them upstairs. The way they built her house, they left all of this up together. They didn't put no divide the bedrooms, just curtains. And we all made up to get them up there and tell them we want them to help clean up upstairs, clean the stairs down. And we want Lois to get over behind the bed with a sheet on her and get one of them to look over there, tell her to look for something, and when she does, she's going to see her wrapped up with a sheet. And when she did, honey, oh Lord, she come up from there, and one of the little niggas said to the others, "Let's get out of here, there's a ghost in here." And they took out down them steps, and honey, I don't think they hit many of them. It was just about that far. They rolled down them steps and got out of there, and we never did see them no more. You talk about, you get a colored person scared, boy. Ain't got a bit of sense. They went home. They went down that hill. We didn't see. They didn't come back up there to help us. Oh man, Mr. Brother Snows me, the undertaker can't. He could tell some of the funniest tales of them boys. He'd come out, they would stay to bedtime, and me and Arthur and him and his wife, he'd just tell us one tale after another about what he pulled on people, And one time he said he got a colored boy to go upstairs and help him. Had caskets up there, and set them back up there till they ready to bury them. I think that's the way it's done. But anyway, he got one up there, and he fixed this all up ahead of time. He fixed a rope or a big stout string on one of the caskets, and fixed it so he could pull it. And he got the boy up there. He pulled one of them caskets out. And then that boy left, he never did see him no more. And that boy went down them steps and running and a holler. We just tickled to death when he'd say he was coming out there. He'd get us to laugh, and tell us funny tales. He's dead now. And his wife, I heard, had broke her hip. Oh, I ought to call her sometime. You know what? We were the best friends. I tell you, get away from people.